You're most welcome to OQATA Wellness Solutions. You've joined an amazing team. I believe the team that you have started with has your true intentions at heart, right? So I believe those leaders also have sponsored. I want to thank you. Who is are any of your sponsors around? Is any of you, are you seeing any of your sponsors are available? Hey, who's your sponsor? Is your sponsor around? The people who have sponsored these people also stand up. Stand up. I want to congratulate you. The people who sponsored them, please stand up. No wonder the other people were there shouting, yes, we have let's clap. Also stand up for the sponsors. Stand up so to clap for yourself. This activity is not an easy activity, right? How many of you believe sponsoring is not easy? How many of you believe it's not easy? So by show of hands, let's prepare as we give also those people one hot clap, another. Wow. So the reason I shared done that small activity is because of today's topic. Today's topic is building professionals and not participants. How many of you want professionals in your business? Like people are going to join and they're going to make you make money by show of hands. If you don't want, then these people are not for you. This training is not for you, right? But if you do genuinely want professionals in your business, I'm going to just give you a simple story. When I began network marketing, I was invited just like you. The hardest thing for me was making sense of the opportunity. I was telling a friend of, I think I was telling Zaki's brother when I was with him. I shared with him and told him one of the biggest things that made me fail to join network marketing and take it seriously at that particular time is the same statement he made that I liked when we were sharing about this. He mentioned a statement and said that his time wasn't then, like it was not his time. Am I making sense to someone? That person who shared with me the business at that particular time, he didn't give me any motivating reason to join and take this seriously. When I saw him, I monitored him, I kept track of him. I would ask him every day. I was that kind of person who would keep tabs on someone. You know, they were not following me up. I was instead following who? Him up. I would always want to see, has he made money? Has he done this? Is there a new change? And what delayed me from joining him is it might have taken a little longer to make money and become successful, which was okay, which is very okay. But the biggest thing I think he also had done that I don't want you to do is, friends, I want to give this one is the bonus tip. It's not part of the training. Don't take long to make money in your network marketing journey. Ask me why. The people who are ready to join you wholeheartedly are waiting to see if this thing works for you. And the problem is, when you make money, another mistake we make is we think our money is small. Turn to your neighbor left and right. Turn to your neighbor left and right. Touch their shoulder and tell them your money is not small. That $15, that $22, that $75, that $30, whatever dollars, it is not small money. I realized this because we were once in a meeting and we were talking as uplines and saying they should not show our money, they should not do this, not that, the other one. And what excited me was when I posted, I really like posting my income, but I posted the money that I made when they recognized us for 3 months, right? I think I'd made about 19 point something. And when I posted that money, a friend of mine asked me, Aziz, you mean to tell me from those things, you even called them those, you collected 19 million and it was in a space of 3 months. He said his father works for that money in a space of 1 year. Now, not to disrespect anyone who's not part of network marketing, but the reality of the matter is the money that we make, sometimes it's hard to dissolve inside our systems and believe that we could touch that money if we're in another professional job. Am I making sense to someone? Because honestly speaking, there are very few people who are actually paid that kind of money. The people who earn that money are people who are professionals or who are considered professionals. And that's what we want to be in today's training. How many of you want to become a professional? How many of you want to become a professional? Because the money that you want only comes when you become a professional. Now, it starts from the time you get started. And also that time when you sponsor someone. Now, for me, I believe everything begins from the time you sign up a person. And I didn't know this until I started doing it subconsciously. Now, when you begin and sign up that person, everyone is smiling. The person who has sponsored is smiling. The person who has joined is smiling. Am I speaking to someone? But even a person who has paired the upline is even more smiling. But at that particular moment, I sat down and started asking myself that there are those things that people do at a job. There are those things people do at school. Have you ever thought about why school they have this thing that they call, is it orientation week? Am I speaking to someone again? I want to speak because I'm seeing a lot of students. There's that thing that they call orientation week. True or false? Now, in orientation, why are they having this orientation week? They want to tell you how things are done at the school, right? Even when I once tried to get employment, they told me that we're not going to pay you for 1 month. They said that month you're getting experience. I asked that person who told me that statement, how much is experience? Huh? How much is experience? Because at the end of the day, I'm also going to tell my landlord that I received experience as salary. So I'm going to pay your rent with what? Experience. Tell your neighbor, experience. I felt that word became irritating. But I realized that statement made sense. When someone joins your business, that first week that person has joined is the most crucial week. I mean, the first 30 days are okay, but the first week, tell your neighbor, first week. Have you ever noticed that when someone joins you in the first week, they're willing to do anything and everything? They're willing to even do whatever you tell them. You tell them jump, But you know the mistake we make? The mistake, and this one I learned it when I was with Zaki. I thank God I went with him in the plane. You know, both our phones were off, and for once, no customer was calling him, no person was disturbing me. So we had 1 hour and 45 minutes, and I told him, you're not going to doze. You're not going to doze on this plane. Every time I saw him wanting to doze, I told him, no, sir, wake up. And I realized there's a statement he made that made a lot of sense to me. Now, there's a story we feed ourselves whenever we are sponsoring these people. And I think it's because now when I started and got older in network marketing, I started to make friends who are working, who are busy, who maybe are not studying anymore. So the friends I started to sponsor are friends who are part-timers most of the time, right? Now, I started to over-understand them. I started to even give them reasons why they're not here on an event. I'd be like, this guy is a busy guy. This guy, he doesn't invite because he's doing something else. I started to feed myself a nice story that made sense. But I want to give you this statement here. One of the most satisfying things as an upline is seeing your new champion become as serious or even more serious than me. There's nothing more satisfying. And this one I want to show you. I want to show you by show of hands. How many of you your not me, but your sponsor is available? How many of your sponsor is available here? Right? I want to give one example. How many of you your sponsor is available here? In the hall, not outside the hall, in the hall. Your sponsor is available here, right? I'm going to use, okay, let me give it like this. How many of you your sponsor is available here? And your downline, your direct is also available in the train. My MC, you come. Come, where's your direct? Direct also come. Where's your sponsor? They're near each other like that. I love that. All of you come. Now, please come here on the stage. I love that. These gentlemen are amazing. They even sit next to each other, right? They are safeguarding the gains. Now, please stand here. You're a sponsor, he's a sponsor, and the other one is a sponsee. Now, friends, this is what I realized that's very rewarding. Now, the happiness he feels, think about it, the happiness he feels seeing him available, smart and looking like money, is the same happiness he will feel when this guy changes. True or false? There's nothing sweet, and let me tell you why I'm doing network marketing. Me, I don't do network marketing, not solely just for the money. I do it so that one day, when we step on a stage like this, and I see tomorrow they are carrying this person, and I'm also, I'll be the happiest person. I'll be inside the people carrying, But it will be very exciting to know that I brought someone who brought another person, who brought another person, and now we're carrying the person you also what? Brought. That means there's multiplication happening, right? Now, there's nothing more satisfying to him to see this person even one day become much better than him. Now, check yourselves as uplines. If at any time he starts to feel bad, there's a problem. There's a what? Because if he starts to feel bad, this person is becoming successful, he doesn't understand what network marketing is. Now this, I'm saying it because there are many people who have ever felt like that, right? Let me tell you, the best thing that you should know that you have a strong leg, you have a weak one, is if there's a leg outperforming you. Like when they read this, these people are there. When they read the other one, those people are there. When that happens, you can now strongly say, I have a strong leg. Am I speaking to someone? But for as long as you're still the superstar in that sale, you're the strong person. You're no longer having a strong leg, you become the strong leg. Am I speaking to someone? Now, that only happens when you feel satisfied that there's someone who has become more serious or serious than you. Let's clap for these gentlemen. Let's clap for them. They're doing an amazing job. Let's clap for them. Now, but only it happens when you set the right tone. This is where I was losing a lot of people, setting the right what? Tone. I told you when I sponsored most of my friends, I started to give them reasons why they're not serious about the business. But yet, we were talking with Zaki, and there was a guy who left his job. He even boldly told the guy, can you leave everything you're doing? In my head, I was asking Zaki, what confidence do you have to tell someone that statement? The guy said, Aziz, if the guy doesn't leave what he's doing, and he does this half-heartedly, he's not going to make money. True or false? So if he makes money by doing this full-heartedly, will he even remember that job he left? No. I was like, now you made my what? You got my attention. Because I asked myself that question. What confidence does someone have to reassure someone to burn all the bridges and do this? And I thought about it because when we left campus and joined network marketing, our upline confidently almost convinced me. Almost, I say it with confidence also. He almost convinced me that school wasn't important. He almost what? Convinced me. But thank God I have a single mother who wanted to slap me back into my senses. That time when she saw me miss class, she almost wanted to kill me. She said, you're going to do what, sir? I was dressing my suit ready for sale training. She pulled me by my ear. Imagine, a whole upline. By that time, I was a silver executive of that company. She was pulling my ear, silver executive. I was telling her, I told her, do you know how much I make a week? She said that as long as you're inside this what? House, you shall go for school. Let me tell you, I went with my suit and my silver executiveship in the class. After class, I came back to the training center. But it simply means the person who sponsored me set the right tone. He almost convinced me that this was it for me, like this was it. And it had to work and nothing else made sense. At that point, he started to tell me the same things that I want to tell you today. There's something called non-negotiables. Can you say non-negotiables? Can you say non-negotiables? Maybe we should say it in Uganda. Is there a word that resembles that one in Uganda? Eh? How many? Who's the Muganda in the house? The only person I know is Adam. But no, Jonathan. Jonathan, actually. Jonathan even has the same bill. Jonathan, is there a word that matches this one? Non-negotiable. Is there a word that matches this one? The proud Muganda next to him has said, watch our way. So please, tell us that word, sir, Jamanda. I think you have a word that represents that one. Now I will argue with the man. Anyway, friends, this non-negotiable is what you have to have when someone joins you. And I'm going to show you those non-negotiables slowly by slowly, but I don't want you to say that it's Bible truth or Quran information. No. I want you to sieve what I'm going to share with you, but most importantly, I want you to apply it in whatever you're doing. Because the moment you compromise on this one, you've lost your new person. The moment you compromise on this one, you've lost your new person. Number one, the first non-negotiable is commitment. Can you also commitment? I learned that there's a very big difference between convenience and commitment. And I chose to have commitment over convenience. Now, it's very convenient for people to learn and do this cell training in their homes. True or false? Very convenient. Our technical team has put us microphones on YouTube. When you listen to it, it's amazing, right? Now, the honest thing is this. Wherever they're listening to the training from, here or outside, it's okay. But the one non-negotiable you should have is that they're listening to the training. Am I speaking to someone? Yes. Don't petrify them for not being here. There you're losing your person. You're losing the person who would have been a superstar because you're so focused on them being where? Here. I believe our CEO is not spending that money to put up this kind of setup because maybe he wants to have cameras around recording him and maybe he's bored and he wants to see himself on TV all the time. No. I imagine that he's doing this because he has understood that this may be convenient for someone who's trying to remain committed to the business. Am I speaking to someone? Yes. The first thing that you want to understand over this is we don't work when we feel inspired. No. We work because we want to acquire our what? Goals. So the statement is very clear. We don't work when we feel inspired. We work until our goals are what? Acquired. Now, in the chase for commitment, you want to decide first and then discipline will follow. Decide that this is the opportunity for you, friends. Some of you have not yet convinced your mind that multi-level marketing works. How many of you believe that this thing is going to work for you? By show of hands, even God knows it. This time, be serious about it. Don't put your hand like a prospect. Be serious about it. How many of you believe that this thing is going to work for you? And your hand is not broken, and you're not a prospect in our studio. My sister, you're not a prospect. You put up your hand. How many of you believe that this thing is going to work for you? May God bless those hands. Friends, once you decide that multi-level marketing is the only thing for you, and you've chosen to become a professional, there's a reason why footballers are training Monday to Friday to play one game on Saturday. They would have been with their families. They would have been at KFC eating whatever kind of food they want. They even hire personal chefs. All this just to play one match on the weekend. To play one soccer match for 90 minutes. 90 minutes, friends. They are investing. And when they invest heavily like that, when you hear their salaries, you start to wish that you knew how to play football. Huh? You start to wish that if I was somewhere in UK and then they saw me playing football, maybe I'd be confused and then they'd put me in a club. Now, it's because they decided that this, for them, or whatever they were doing at that particular moment, was their breakthrough. The moment you decide, you've taken a bigger step, you've left being average, but most importantly, you have now decided that this thing is going to work out for you. And that's where the passion comes in. And that's where now you start to make sure that your new person also commits to the things that you want them to commit to. That is one of the biggest non-negotiables you should ever have in your business. The next thing you want to do is set the tone right for them in the beginning. The new person, you have to understand one thing. The biggest challenge that we lose people also is because of not yet managed their expectations. Imagine I come here and I tell them in 1 year the business has paid me 185 million. How much do you think their head is going to tell them that they should also earn? They'll start convincing themselves, maybe that guy has pocketed that money, for me let me do half. But you also know how much maybe of an effort that someone has put in to make that money. True or false? So when you don't manage their expectation, do you know what's going to happen? They're going to quit. You have to tell them the reality of the business. You know, one thing I love about the NDO book, it stops sugarcoating. It will tell you rejection is there. Your first year, that book of My First Year in Network Marketing, begins by talking about the rejection rocket. I don't think the author was wrong to write that book when he was writing it. He talks about rejection first. Do you know why? He wants to make it sure that it has sunk in that you will be rejected, but there's an overcoming of the rejection also. Because I drew a graph one day here, when we were seated here, I drew a graph, and say that there's that period of excitement. You know that period of excitement? Where everything seems nice. The package looks beautiful. The product looks nice. Even when you tell them to chew what product, you may tell them bite that capsule. You tell them swallow, bite Omega, and it will taste like as if it's strawberry juice. Why? Because they are very excited at that moment. But give them a month without managing their expectations. Someone will complain that, oh, this thing is falling apart. They don't have money. The fan is not working. They didn't put AC. They can't afford AC. They start complaining about even the smallest things that don't make what? Sense. Now, that all comes because you haven't managed what? Expectations. Telling them the truth is not discouraging them. I had an argument with an upline. He said, now upline, if I tell them that the person is going to find rejection, they're going to find things hard, they're going to invite, and someone says no, well, the person may quit even before they start working. I told him, who are you lying to? So even if they call a person and the people don't come, or they call a person and the person says no, which one is better? Imagine, when I was doing this training, I was telling my wife when I was doing it, I told her, imagine if dating was like this. I look at the person, and then I say this person is going to do this, and I could predict the future. Do you know how many breakups would reduce? The percentage of breakups would reduce. True or false? Because you would now know the future of the whole relationship. But now, we cannot protect you from going through that emotion. We can't. But amidst people who have gone through those emotions, they have found their long life partner. True or false? So that's the same theory about this managing of expectations. Now, you move ahead and then you're going to teach them the value of showing up. Now, friends, I want to read this one. Be present for them as an upline and remind them that their business only pays them when they show up for it. Because remember, I'm telling you facts here. I'm not telling you something that will sound nice in your ears. I'm telling you very many facts. The reality of our business is that showing up is not physical. Sometimes it's not just physical alone. Some people are here and their minds are somewhere else. Am I speaking to someone? Eh? How many of you are here and your mind is somewhere else? Don't put up your hand. Eh? How many of you are here and your mind is also here with us? Yeah? Now you see where I'm coming from. Even that, people have still asked that question, their hands are down. It means some people are still far. Are you getting where I'm coming from? So sometimes commitment alone is not physical presence. It's also mental and spiritual. Because if the person's passion is not locked on to here, they will be somewhere else, but their body is here. They'll start to come like the same way people lock into a job. Someone wanted to knock me in the morning. I was there. For me, I was busy listening to my audio in the car. A guy was overtaking the lane. He almost knocked me. I paused. I told him, I don't fight. You pass. Told him, you pass. You may knock my car, and it's very expensive to fix it. And indeed, when he was doing that same stuff, he knocked someone. And I met him on the way. I looked at him and I said, I'm sorry to see that you're in this situation. Do you understand where I'm coming from? But I believe the reason why he's doing that is because he had 3 kids at the back. He's trying to drop them to school and then meet the time at also checking in for work. Now, that is a very big thing of why you should value network marketing. Imagine we had the time for people to check in. For me, I would be fired already. Me, I would be fired. By the time they put a time here, I would have been fired already. But the reason why showing up is important is because it takes that person to understand that their business is a business just like any other. Friends, if all of us had a boutique here, let's just imagine, I'm just giving you an example of a business or a boutique. Would you close that boutique and run it online? And then when you make a sale, you go and open the shop, and then you pull out the dress, then you close it back. Would that boutique make money? But why is it that there are some people who even go the extra mile and they sit in a boutique when there's no one, he or she knows, yesterday no one passed, but they'll open again today. Do you know why? Because they believe that showing up might just be the time they show up and someone buys clothes. That's the same thing with your business. The day when you don't come, probably some other person may ask for a product and then you start making emergency phone calls. There's a downline in my team who like those things. Every time he has a customer, he wants us to leave even the stage and come and serve him. And he's at home, he's making phone calls from home. He's directing, I told him you need to invest in a border guy. I tell you what, a border guy who knows how to fill in our registration form. Because that's the next step. That's the next step he's having to. He has to either invest or appear, one of the two. So showing up is very important for your business because success rarely responds to mood. I know the percentage of ladies in the house, they are many. I don't want to attack you this early morning. But for the ladies, this one is important. These gentlemen here, they are very clever men. They are very clever men. And nowadays that you're making your small money, they're going to add to put their stress on you. And they're going to add to compliment you even more than before. And what happens next is you're going to fall for one of these sharp men. I call them sharp because they are sharp. And the reality of the matter is, one of them will do the same compliment to another. And before you know it, you're in a mix. And before you know it, you have become a milkshake. Am I speaking to someone? That now everyone knows that this man is taking this milkshake. So it then becomes a problem because now you will have lost the mood. Your mood will have been destroyed. You start working based on how you feel. Let me tell you what one of my uplines told me. And he told it to me, not in bad faith, but he asked me as is. I was the one of the people who worked on mood. I loved Mondays because that's when I was excited. Monday, I was here. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you cannot see me. Friday, because the week is ending, I also appear. Saturday, because I know if I appear, I can afterwards go and be with my friends. So that's how my upline knew me. And now what he decided was, he started now putting incentives for coffee and which ones for people coming. I started coming every day. I'll just get the circuit and then I'll go away. But then, in the process of getting this circuit, he asked me one question before he gave me the circuit. He asked me as is, have you come to build a hobby or you've come to build a legacy? And then I asked him, what do you mean? Every day I'm here. Why do you think you're giving me the coffee? He said, I'm giving it to you because I'm hoping one of these coffees has one supplement inside that can convince your mind network marketing works. I asked him that, why are you saying it like that? I've appeared. Didn't you want us to attend? I told him I've attended. And I told him this is not, he also replied and told me this is not a job. Tell your neighbor this is not a job. Tell your neighbor with confidence, this is not a job. Friends, if there's anyone in any cell doing roll call, please come and bring that person to me. Some of the uplines are doing roll call in cell. You have become wardens of your cells. Some of you have become matrons of your cells. In that the cell cannot happen when you're not available. And that's where you've got it all wrong. Because now these people, you've inflicted on them the job mindset. That they're no longer coming here for themselves, they're coming here for you. Already, you've destroyed the duplication process. And you know next what you're going to destroy? You're going to destroy the multiplication process. And that already is a big deal in network marketing. Now, for me, I want to tell you that your mood should be left at home. Why? Because anything can spoil mood, even the smallest things. There was a day I was having lunch upstairs, and as you know, sometimes Jackie sometimes also talks when she's serving. And she wired her spoon of beans on my shirt. Let me tell you, I felt like I wanted to get the whole sauce of beans and pour it on her. But I sat down and I said as is. I closed the button and the thing was hidden. Now, the same thing, the following day, the same thing happened to one of my good friends. And I don't want to mention their name. Did this person go home and change and say, I'm coming back? Did they come back? They didn't. They did not. What did that represent? That their mood was affected. Their self-confidence for the day was finished. And something as small as mood, it can destroy your day. It can distort your day. So why you have to detach yourself from that emotion right there is because now you start thinking like a businessman. That no one actually, let me tell you, the whole day, people didn't know beans fell on me. You know, it was only me who knew. And Jackie maybe who I was complaining to. The whole day, no one knew. beans fell on me. I was there confident. I even came, let me give you the secret. I came here and gave you a testimony when beans were in my shirt. Beans were in my shirt. I came here and gave you what? Testimony. Thank God that the beans that fell on my shirt were somewhere here. Imagine your guest saw beans on my shirt. Let's move on to the next non-negotiable. Your why. Tell me about my why.
My why.
Tell me about my why.
My why.
Make sure it's crystal clear. Make sure your why is even known by the person who brought you. In that, it's so known that even your downline knows it. Let me tell you something I think also people who are around Supriyan can testify. When I bought my first car in network marketing, I really wanted a Mercedes-Benz. My upline, I think if I was here by that time, was James Sevugala. They convinced me, buy a Mark X, they convinced me this one, Let me tell you something, friends. I was so obsessed to the point that I sat in a Mark X, my body was not there, my mind, soul, everything was not in that car. And when I sat in the same Mercedes-Benz, I didn't have all the money the man was asking for. But I was somehow convinced I could get it. I asked him about how does it consume fuel, and I had only 100K in my pockets. What does it do, like which functions? I repeat, I had how much in my pockets? 100,000. And you know how Indians be. Make a deposit, you even change this voice. He gave me coffee, and then I told him, let me come back. Indians, when they want to close a business deal, never play with those Indians. They would be the greatest networkers, but I don't know why they're not doing network marketing. Huh? This guy gave me every reason to own this car. He told me how the number plate is there, it's ready, it's just me signing this paper, the other one, I make a deposit, boom. Jackie's brother knows this. When you enter the bond, it's dangerous. You leave when you didn't plan leaving money, but you end up making phone calls. Half those guys in the bond, if they came and did network marketing, I think our guests would not be safe. Huh? I know the way some people tight mark guests here. If those guys, you put them in a closing circle, someone has to leave something. Even if it's your ID, you leave it. This Indian made me feel that I could get 1 million. He told me even if it's 1 million, 1 million. My friend, you don't have 1 million? He convinced me. I looked for 1 million that day. And I repeat, I only had how much? 100,000 in my pocket. I called my upline, there's some scenario, which you called this other person, called the other one. I told them, I started even calculating how much I had on my dashboard, how much you get. I removed the tax. I started now adding it there. Then I started now borrowing even money I didn't have. Let me tell you, guess what? I didn't leave the 1 million, but I left 500K. And you know what's sad? I left 500K knowing I didn't have the balance. The Indian called me, and then I said, Mzee, you bring back my money. The Indian said, there's a convenience fee, remove this convenience fee. How much do you think he sent me back? 150,000. My goodness. Did he make money for his time spent? Maybe he did. So, why am I sharing this story? It's because at that time, no one could convince me otherwise. Why? Because my why was what? Crystal clear. Now, when your people begin, your why must be bigger than your excuses. My excuse was I had 100,000 in my pocket, but I wanted the car. But I said, should I convince my mind I want 100? I want to get this car so badly, or I just move on and tell the Indian? Because at some point, it stopped becoming about the Indian pushing me. I started pushing myself. I started saying, but Aziz, you know the Indian was saying, you can't call your friends. I was like, you're right. I started convincing myself with his statements. And that's why you see, building from purpose, it stops becoming pressure. And to learn to build from purpose, not pressure. Some of you are bringing pressure to record these videos. When you record the video, even you, after you watch the video, you say that this one, they put him on gunpoint. There was a gun behind the camera saying, you record. You know how those terrorists tell you, record? That's how you are. It's like they've put a gun, they tell you record the video. And that's because you're feeling what? Pressure. You're not feeling like these things, you can actually sell them. You're feeling pressured. Your upline is put you on the spot and said that, Munai, if you don't sell, you don't be here. And even you have started to believe that is the reality. And that's what happens when your business starts to feel like that. Because now, the fastest way to grow is when people want to do these things. I've found that the fastest way to motivate anybody is when someone wants this thing as much as you. That's why you have to fall in love with the 80-20 rule. 80% of your business will come from 20% of your people. This one I'm telling you so that you don't become annoying. You don't become emotional, you don't become, you don't start, you see someone, let me tell you, you're going to see a sale. I should be seeing 12,000 distributors in this house. I should be seeing them. True or false? But how many are we? We're not more than 300, right? So it simply means that that law stops becoming something you're obsessed about. And it stops starting to make you feel like you're under pressure. There's nothing you're chasing. There's nothing that is putting you on gunpoint. You have to understand there's something you're building, and as long as you're passionate about it, your time will come. If it comes tomorrow, congratulations. Comes next week, congratulations. Comes next month, also we still congratulate you. Is there any month we've not recognized anyone? Meaning there's a recognition for every month when your time comes. But some of you want to sell your kidney because of recognition. Anyway, write down and read your why daily. Do you remember how you didn't know the company self-talk? Nowadays, you can even say it without the thing appearing here. True or false? Do you know why they make you say those things? I remember there was a self-talk that they said that we are going to, well, every person I talk to gets started. Do you remember that self-talk for those of you who are in the other company? Did you talk to people and they all get started? But you believed it, that every person you talk to is going to get what? Started. Do you know why? Because you are reading it daily. You'd even look at this person who doesn't start and you'd be like, why am I not the people they were saying in the self-talk? You even start giving them an excuse. This one's not ready. Let me talk to the one who's going to get started. And now, those affirmations start to become your actual reality. I saw it on a TikTok video today when I was coming to office. He said that the subconscious mind feeds you the life you're supposed to live. I didn't understand that statement. Have you understood it for you? I understood it when I parked downstairs. How many of you understood it the first time I said it? Eh? I saw it in Sasi roundabout, but I understood it in the parking. How many of you have understood that statement? Yes, Jordana, please share. Because me, I understood when I came here, in parking. Please share what you've understood from that statement.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you all. Good morning. You said that the subconscious mind becomes the reality of what you're going to do. The truth of the matter is, whatever you think is picked from the mind. Our mind does not pick the reality. Let me give you an example. Let's say you stay in a home, but every day you come and you jump mwala, you get what I'm saying. Like that is your reality, you understand? But in your head, you're telling your head, by the end of this year, I'll be in my own house somewhere, something this and this. Your mind, the subconscious mind, keeps speaking that. That even when you're passing the mwala, you might not realize that actually jumped to mwala. Your head is in muyenda, almost get a number. So by the time the year ends, because your mind is saying it and stuff, it finds, because the universe is full of energy. The universe is full of energy, aura, and everything. So by the time the year reaches, you find you're getting so many clients, you're getting so much money. Like you feel like you just talk to someone, not even so much that they are training, and people around there saying, oh, what is happening? But it's because your subconscious mind is communicating to the universe. So your future is determined by whatever your subconscious mind thinks. That's why you find these people who say, what fetawali avuga motoka, mugambe motoka, tewali najile wafe. They will die because that is what they think. So if you want to get whatever you want, manipulate your mind. You might be you can even be like, now I'm very sick by now, even if I think I don't. But if you're seeing me, you see my eyes are what, how did you? But I'm telling my mind, we are okay, we are going to make money and stuff. And clients are calling. But if I'm here to sit and say, I will actually become worse. You understand what I'm saying? So whatever you feed your mind is what you think.
Wow. Thank you. I think she deserves a round of applause. Let's clap for her. Please clap for her. Please clap for her. Now, she has explained my point and she has sent it home, right? Now, this thing is very powerful. Don't play with it. Then, the other thing I want you to do is remember, people don't quit when it gets hard, but they stay when it matters. How many of you were in our previous company and at some point you even started losing track of why you were still there? Like, I felt that, I don't know if anyone felt like that, but I felt like that at some point. I felt like I don't even know what I'm still doing here. Mentally, I was somewhere else. But at some point, I felt like most of the things that mattered to me, I got them from that place. I felt that if I could push a little harder, maybe something else would come from that same scenario. So the reason why some of you are here, it's not because you're making billions, no. It's because the reality that what you're doing actually matters, and one day it's going to unlock that thing that you've been chasing the most is the reason why all of us are here. Tell your neighbor hope. Tell your neighbor hope. Say it like you mean it. Tell your neighbor hope. Now, hope is the biggest thing that keeps all of us here. Do you want me to test that hope? How many of you are hoping to get a sale today or this whole week? You're hoping. Huh? How many of you are hoping to get a sign up this whole month or whatever? Now, the person's hand who's down, look at them. Look at them one more time. They may not be here for a long time, so look at them properly again. Let me ask you again, so to look at them, cram their face, because you may not see them. How many of you are hoping to make a sale this whole month? Look at the person's hand who's down, cram their face. Be sure they'll not be here for the end of the month. Recognition. Now, if we have confirmed hope is the one that's keeping us here, it simply means hope is the simple thing you need to feed your champions. Every day. Tell your neighbor every day. The moment someone loses hope, the moment they lose it, they are done. There's no recovery. Because they'll even become bitter. They'll even become annoyed. Every time you come next to them, even you, their hope, they'll want to steal it. Those ones, you run away. Now, the next thing is the most important thing. It's the income daily activities. These income producing activities, friends, if you don't do them, here, even if you have hope, how? Even if, I know I've told you, hold on hope, but if you're not doing the daily income producing activities, even if you have hope, you cannot be here for long. Now, how many of us have prospected, invited, presented, done those income producing activities by show of hands? Also look at them, look at their faces, those hands which are down. Look at their faces. Put up your hand if you're doing those activities. Look at the one's hand who's down. He may not be here for long. Do you know why? Because let me tell you something. Having a daily method of operation builds a standard of operation. Friends, I tell you this one with all confidence. The moment you don't have a daily method of operation, what we like to call a DMO. How many of you have DMOs by show of hands? You have DMOs. Look at the one's hand who's down. How many of you have DMOs? DMOs, daily method. If you have, you put up. You're telling me, you're convincing. You're telling yourself by also putting up your hand. How many of you have a daily method of operation? Let me tell you, a daily method of operation is something that will help govern you and make your day feel like it's worth it. There's nothing that gets achieved in a day when you just, there are those people who are sailing through the day. They are sailing. Now, I'll tell you a story of how man made an aeroplane. I was laughing with Zaki, and this, I don't know if Zaki is here. Zaki is not around. So Zaki asked me a question when I was seated in a plane, and he asked me as is, how do planes know when they are in the sky? Because he kept on, he sat on a window. So he kept putting his head outside the window. So I was like, this guy, if these windows could open, this one would have, jumped outside. But every time he was looking in the sky. So he was asking me, tapped me and asked me a very rhetorical question. I wanted to laugh, but also at the same time, I saw he was very serious when he asked me a question. So I didn't laugh because we were sitting next to a neighbor and we told him that we were on OQATA and we were millionaires. So If I laughed at my friend, we may not be the millionaires we told this one about, right? So I was seated next to him and I told him that he asked me this question. Let me repeat the question. He said, Aziz, how do planes know where they are going? There's a lot of air, clouds covering, which one? So he asked me, how do planes know where they're what? Going. So I stood there, I was like, should I lie to this one or tell him the truth? I said, why I lie? So I make him first. I first see his excitement in the face, but I said, let me tell him the truth. Now, in front of a plane, there's what we call a beacon. It's like it's a thing that every airport has those signal. Have you ever seen those big signal panels that give on the radar direction? They give you like those directions. It gives the pilot directions on where he's supposed to what? Follow. If he strays off, it will turn red. It means that he's off track. If he stays on a course, it will remain green. Am I speaking to someone? Yes. Okay. Now, I did not become a pilot. I didn't study one, but I in my free time, I research these things. So what happens is I told him that thing, that nose on the plane has an antenna. It's like an antenna. It's called a beacon, but it's like an antenna. Let me make it easy in layman's language. So an antenna that connects to that same signal pan of that airport where it's supposed to land. So what happens is it does the same exact thing to pull him closer or pull the person and show them the what? The direction. Now, think about if planes didn't have that thing. You know how many accidents would be in air? A guy just sees another plane, he's like, hey, we're both flying, boom, then they knock each other. Because they're covered by a lot of what? Clouds. Same thing with our day. Imagine if you didn't have a daily method of operation. You come here, someone tells you, come and go for lunch, you go. Come and go visit their place, you go. Come and record a video. You don't have what to say in the video, but you also want to be there. Then you also go. Then they ask you, come and take a picture, you're there. Come and do this, you're there. Like you become like the way, I don't want to give a bad example, but you have understood my point, right? So having a daily method of operation, it will be, trust me, not having it is the greatest downfall of every new person in the lack of a system. Now, many people come here and ask themselves, even in the circle, closing circle, the common question people ask is, what shall we be doing when we start? Have you ever got that question? Someone asks you, what are we going to be doing when we start? Even when you sponsor a new person. Do you know there are some people who fear to sponsor new people? Because they fear because they don't know after the person joins. They didn't know that part. Then they knew they have to present, they have to prospect, but they didn't know life after sponsoring. So after sponsoring, he's still now in that phase of eating the money. So he was not sure. Now this person, I tell him what. Let me put him here, and then he figures it out. You know, most of us are like that. We throw the person and say, now you find yourself. There are people who are doing those things there, you copy them. There are other guys who are doing those ones, you pick something. You tell them pick something, you even push them. You leave them in the hole and you go back. You start looking for another person. Now, that's like giving birth to a kid and then you put them in another house. Am I speaking to any parent who's around? The kid, this one I tested it. One day I left my kid in the house of my neighbors. The kid kept on asking the neighbor to call me. Asking the neighbor to call who? Me. Then I asked this kid, can't you wait for me to come back? Like, he kept on asking the neighbor to call who? To call me. So now I'm imagining if your new downline comes to the center and you put them in another cell. Trust me, they'll ask themselves, why isn't your upline in the cell? And you know what will happen? They'll leave. Now, the next thing that you have to understand is you have to create a system that centers around core activities. People have not come here. This is not a daycare. So you have to find things that make people busy. 60% of the people, this is a fact, 60% of the people who are working, who are doing those activities, chances are high they tend to stay longer and make money eventually. 60%. The other 40%, I don't know what happens to them. But I can be sure about the 60. The 40 I've left to God. But the 60, I'm sure, who commit to the income-producing activities, inviting, prospecting, like an income-producing activity. Yes, as much as they have told you to record the video, I'd also build your business. Do you know what's interesting? Let me tell you what's interesting. When you record the video, yes, and you make a sale, one person, like this, you shall make profit. But how do you want to go past profit? You want to grow past profit, get 5 more people doing the same thing. Then you get through profits, but now you unlock stair step. Can you also stair step? Then, when you get more 10, you'll get, yes, the profit, you'll unlock stair step, but guess what? You'll now unlock binary check match. Can you also binary check match? Then you add more 10, and then, yes, you've passed the profit, you've passed the stair step, you've passed the binary check match, but now you've added generational leadership bonus. Can you also generational leadership bonus? There are so many ways of making money in a system that should not pass you because you're focused on recording one video. Record the video, proceed. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Proceed. Invite another person. Invite another person so that when they join, they now record with you. You see? Then also tell them to do the same thing. They invite, now you're 4 people recording the video. How cursed are you that all 4 of you can fail to make a sale? How cursed are you? That means you even have to change where you're recording the video. If you've been recording from this wall and no sale has come and you're 4 people, the problem is in the wall now. I'm convinced the problem is the what? The wall. I don't want to say the problem is you because you're doing the right thing. The problem sometimes just comes from people joining and not doing these activities. Someone joins, they come here, they be available, but then they go away when they haven't made money. Have you ever seen that happen? People are around, but they're not making money. Now, consistency towards this system is important. If you've never been consistent in a relationship, you'll be consistent on your business. Because the moment you apply consistency, that's what's going to unlock your big income. Doing something because your body doesn't want it, but you do it, is the moment you have now said, you can now proudly say, I'm consistent. Like Jordan has just given an example. She said she's feeling sick, but she's here. Meaning her body brought her here, her mind was still in the sick bay. Am I speaking to someone? Meaning the legs subconsciously took her to the training center, even when the body was telling her you shouldn't go. So that consistency is very important. And I even put a disclaimer here. Do you have mentors of mentors? Yeah? Up, down, my amazing champions. Do you have mentors of mentors? Do you have those traffic, you know those uplines who are, may I call them traffic control? Have you ever seen those uplines who become traffic control? They're the one who's telling you, go record, go this one, go there. They start now, if you put that one here on the, one they get traffic lights, there will be no jam. That's kind of champion. The upline tells you, go record, go call, go prospect, go do this one. And then when you ask him for your upline, what are you going to do? How can you ask me that question? He even tells you, how can you ask me that question? Now, even if you're a mentor of all mentors, that system is not shy from you. Whatever you ask your champion to do, better be sure that you can do it as well. That's the fastest way to grow. If I ask you to appear in this, I make sure that I appear it fast. If I tell you to sell, I make sure I sell fast. So that when you come to me and ask me, I'm telling you from gospel truth. And I'm telling you from that word that I told my landlord I wanted to pay him, which was what? Come for a circuit for me. She has remembered that word. That word is called what? So you have I was going to say all of you come for circuits, but just say it. But anyway, that whole thing comes back to you as a person who has sponsored a new person. Now, the last one that I love so much, this one is so important. It's more important than even some of the other things. This one, if your new person is not coachable, tell your neighbor coachable. Tell your neighbor practical. Those two, if your new person isn't willing to learn and willing to do, you rather give them back their startup capital. I'm telling you the truth. There's some 80,600 or 806,000 you're going to eat that's going to give you high blood pressure. I'm telling you. I give you a story. I give you a true story. There was this lady. She sent me her money. I posted this thing on my status. I just posted the what? the business on my status. She she asked me, how much is those things to join? I insisted, why don't you come and meet me? We first talk about it, we understand it much better. She said, Aziz, I don't have time. I said, who am I to refuse money? I sent her the screenshot of how much it is to join. She sent a deluxe package. I said, let me first register the starter. This one, let me first register the starter. I registered the starter, I held the other starter, the 1.1 with me. I told her, I'm not sending these products on a border. You're either meeting me or you're meeting me. Oh, I open and swallow your things. She said, how can you swallow my things? She was complaining. I said, Nyavo, you're going to either meet me or I swallow your things. And I opened the circuit, I recorded the video. I knew I was still going to open me. You don't sign up with me and you don't open your products. That's one of the things I never accept. I opened the product, I sent her a video. She lost her mind. She came in the evening with that bag, very serious, ready to shout at me. She already got annoyed because she climbed so many stairs. She came, she first started to admire our office. Then she said, come here. Imagine we're in the platinum room. Told her she stopped to an emerald like this, but then I said, you're my boss. I came. I sat down. I waited for her to look at me in my face, complain. Then she told me, why did you open my things? I told her I opened it because you were going to open it. Why are you buying these things to sell them away? She said that, what if I was going to sell them? I told her to who? Yeah? And for how much? Do you know our prices? Then she started saying that, what if I was going to get them in a package? I told her, how sure were you? What were you going to tell the person? Okay, I told her, you sell to me this one. Then she started to look at me and said, don't start lecturing me. And I told her, either you calm down or we fail to work together. She calmed down and I realized her problem was one. She was just stressed. I sent her scurry, bought for us juice. Then all of a sudden, she removed her glasses, she removed her high heels, That's when she started to become comfortable. She removed the coat. The tension started to go where? Down. Now, I realized the mistake I made. The mistake I made was to not welcome her the right way, right? Because already she was already complaining at me, so we had already rubbed ourselves in a bad way. You understand where I'm coming from? And there's nothing I hate more than a woman who shouts. Nothing. I was ready to pay her back her 550. I hate it so much. So I told her, sit down. Then she told me, why is my package? I paid for the one of deluxe. Why am I getting one Cavera? I told her, because I want to understand these things. I explained to her. Now, what's funny, this is how I appeared in 1000 BV. She came in December. This is how I appeared in 1000 BV. She had not understood, but when she understood that a superior makes more money than a deluxe, guess how much she paid for? She paid for what? A superior. Now, this is another thing I want you to open and learn to do. I want you to learn to open your dashboard. Tell your neighbor, open your dashboard. I opened my dashboard and I told her, which package do I have for me? Premium. For you want to pay for which one? Deluxe. Now, you want to say you know these things more than me? She said no. I told her, then listen. This is the reason why I'm making this money. I opened the dashboard. I showed her how much I was making. Then she said that, is it because you have a big package? I told her, now you're listening. Now, I told her, sit down, open. You even get more products. She told her, can I pick the one I want? I told her, yes. Which one do you want? She said, I want that one for the skin, I want for the weight. You see, even my back is becoming fat. I told her, let me tell you, one bottle is not going to help you. You need like 3, 4. Am I speaking to someone? She said, yes. And I brought Farida. I told her that, you see, this lady, she also needs to lose weight. Farida explained to her the things she needed. She saw that omega is needed. She saw colon was needed. She started to understand that these products are taken in a set. She ordered for more. That's when she found her money that they were telling her entering almost a superior what? Package. I told her, but why don't you round off this money? You make it a superior package. You get more products. I even give you extra for your kids. Then she told me, are you serious? Like which ones? I told her the Immune Kid. I told her Super Focus. And then she was like, even the kids have supplements. I said, yes. I have a lady, she started telling me people she knew. Now, every time she was telling me someone, I said, pause. I had bought for a book. I bought a small name list. She was writing those people's names. Let me tell you, by that evening, evening, she left when she had done a name list. She learned how to encode. She tested our products. And she now even wanted to give me a lift if I didn't have a car. Am I speaking to someone? But I told her that you're not going to bring your what? Your change here. And then she even told me your confidence to not pay my money there on the system. I told her, yes, I wanted to understand these things. Now, friends, it's important to know that if you know everything, you will learn nothing here. Some of you should be the encyclopedia, but you're not. Do you know why? Because there's something you don't know that someone else knows better. And if you open your mind and heart to learn these things, you'll get to know them and do it much better. Am I speaking to someone? The next point you have to understand is you have to empty your cup. An empty cup collects water. True or false? But a cup that is full, if I gave you a cup that's full and I told you to hold it from here to the other side, maybe 90% of you would pour some small water along the way. Like I'm talking about a cup that has no, you know that cup that has no addition. Like even a drop would make it leak. I promise you, 90% of you would pour some water on the way here. And that's how some of us are. We're acting like as if we have a lot of things that what? We know. And that's one of the biggest things that almost killed me. Someone tells you do this, before you do it, you're complaining. Next thing, there's 2 A's in MLM that are key. Attention and application. 2 like this. 2. How many?
2.
The moment you're attentive and having a good listening attitude, that alone is not enough if you don't apply. Some of you have become like research collectors. You have, if they tell you to bring your book where you do self, thank God they brought self-training in a script, in the system. Before, would have a person who has like 10 books he has written on MLM. 10 books. He has done self-training, general training in. He even has, even some of you went an extra mile and started getting counter books. Now, that is good, but to apply is better. Tell your neighbor to apply is better. The moment you're not applying these things, then you're going to become like a person who's, you know those people who are trying to sell products and then themselves when the customer comes here, then you see you read the science on the, the book, then the client comes here and tells you their problem, then you start looking at the client and then the client looks at you and they say, Musao. They even added to call you what? Musao. They call you doctor. What's not happening? Consultation is becoming a problem. Now, friends, to avoid that, you have to, as much as you're attentive, you have to apply also what they're teaching you. Then, this one is a bonus. Before you complain about something, I always tell this one to the leaders. Many of us are good at complaining. But before you complain about a system, and this is why I wish Zaki was in this training. I don't know why Zaki is not in this training. There was a time when I met Zaki last year before recognition. He'll tell you this story. I asked him that, but Zaki, you've taken a long time without becoming any of these ranks. You have the biggest team here in this office. If you wanted the rank, you'd get it like this. And he said, applying first, we're calling guys. I said, okay. I went. I came back down, I found him in the party. Later on in the evening, I said, Zaki, how are you? He said, I'm fine. I said, applying. Why you give me a speed over? I told him that it's possible. But I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to buy into these products. I want you to believe that even if I sell a package or I sell a piece, I'm still here to sell. Tell your neighbor, I'm still here to sell. Whether you complain and say they are promoting binary guys more than they promote, step people while they are promoting, people are selling. Friends, 1,000 CV is the same as 1,000 BV. It's the same thing. Now, it's upon you to either complain and become a debater of the proposers and opposers. Or you choose to stop being a debater in this class and become a participator. Because if you continue being in the debating class, there will be those guys who say, okay, you debate, Wama, you continue. Then they leave you, they record that video, they make that profit, and when you see the guy eating in Javas, you start saying that, man, this guy is only selling alone. Then tomorrow you see the same guy sponsoring, and then you start saying, this guy is sponsoring because he's selling. Then you will find every reason to pinpoint what's happening in this person's business, and you forget your own. Friends, I always tell people, before you complain about the existing systems, be sure that you first give it a try. First give it a what? Try. Record that video. You feel awkward, feel funny in the beginning, but when you start to sell, trust me, you will even forget that you once opposed those things. Do you think I think Zaki has memory loss, that he once fought those things? Do you know that? I think he has memory loss now. But the only reason he chose to have memory loss is before he sat down and complained, he chose to do what? To implement. He said, let me first do it. Then when it doesn't work, and that's why this guy is rich. That's why he's going to make a lot of money. Before he complains about something, he first says, let me do it. If it fails, now I can go back and tell my people it has failed. Am I speaking to someone? That is the mindset you're supposed to have. If you don't have that mindset, I promise you, you're going to take long to become successful in network marketing. I want to leave you with this quote before I end, and it says that everything works. It works for anyone. Anyone. The key word is what? Anyone. Who is willing to invest the necessary what? Don't mind this word. This one is heavy. Just mind this one. The person who's willing to do what? Invest in the what? Sweat. And you do the required things by any business. We're talking not about just network marketing, but any business. Even if you're selling panties, there's a friend of mine, she's a woman. She wakes up to post panties in all sizes, and she's making a lot of money. I went to her shop, and she's expanding to add more panties. I asked myself, someone is expanding a shop to add more panties, as if the panties don't have anywhere else to be. But she's expanding to add more what? Panties. And she's making a lot of business. And that's why, because she has invested the necessary what? If there's anything you've picked from my training, just know that a person who works harder will never, I repeat it, will never fail to be in any of those things they're fighting for, be it 1,500, whichever. As long as you're willing to outwork this system, you shall always be successful. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening to my training. I'm sorry if I've taken time. I wanted to pass these points back home.